Welcome to the Nepali Diaspora Network Deep Dive. We're your place for, well, the essential news, views, and insights for Nepalese all around the world.
And we're definitely joining you at a crucial time. Nepal's under immense pressure right now, still feeling the effects of the Gen Z movement, political changes, and this ongoing struggle with corruption.
That's right. It's a strange mix, isn't it? Because at the same time, the economy is getting this huge boost from Nepalese living abroad,
Right.
from the diaspora. So our job today is really to sift through the latest digest, pull out the key updates on politics, the economy, and some of the very human stories behind it all.
Yeah, we've got quite a bit to cover. There's this major international corruption story, some pretty stark economic numbers, especially on remittances, and also that incredibly sad confirmation about the student missing in Israel.
Okay, let's unpack this. Starting with, I think, what's driving so much of the current demand for change. Corruption. It feels like it's really come to a head lately.
It really has. And the big story there is the IDEMIA scandal. It revolves around alleged corruption in these huge government projects: passports, driver's licenses, vehicle registration systems.
Okay, so a complaint was filed at the CIA, that's the anti-corruption body. It names IDEMIA. They used to be Oberthur Technologies and their local contact. What are the specifics? What did they supposedly do wrong?
Well, the main charge is about hidden payments, basically. The documents claim Oberthur Technologies paid out US $132,210 in commission fees. These went to a company called Regent City Fairest Ltd., apparently routed via Hong Kong and Singapore. And this was specifically linked to the machine-readable passport contract.
And not disclosing commissions like that during bidding, that's illegal under procurement law, right?
Exactly. Nepal's Public Procurement Act says you have to declare all your agents and any commissions when you bid. Not doing so isn't just, a minor mistake. It can get your bid thrown out, and it often points towards fraud. But look, connecting this to the bigger picture, this kind of secrecy, it hits every Nepalese person listening.
What do you mean?
Well, it's part of why Nepal's on the FATF gray list, the money laundering watch list. This lack of transparency, it doesn't just mean you pay more for your passport. It means every time you try to send money home, every time someone thinks about investing in Nepal, there's more scrutiny, more delays in the global banking system. The diaspora ends up paying the price for this corruption back home.
And it does feel like maybe things are shifting. We've seen some really high-profile arrests recently. Almost symbolic, aren't they?
Very much so. I mean, the arrest of former Speaker Krishna Bahadur Mahara by the CIB, that's huge. It's linked to that 2022 gold smuggling case. Remember, the 730 vapes packed with gold worth about, Rs 85.5 million. The feeling was always that his political position protected him before.
And he's not the only big name. Former Vice President Nanda Bahadur Pun is also being investigated now, right? In connection with gold smuggling, possible links to family and Chinese groups. I mean, this is reaching right to the top.
Precisely. It suggests the ground rules might actually be changing after the Gen Z protests. And speaking of the protests, the Supreme Court is still dealing with the aftermath, only partly reopened after the arson damage during those demonstrations back in September.
Yeah, I saw that logistical fix that Prime Minister Karki telling the Civil Aviation Authority, CAAN, to let the Kathmandu District Court use their building temporarily, just to keep court services running. Meanwhile, you've got local government making waves, too, especially Mayor Balindra Shah in Kathmandu.
Oh, definitely. His campaign to get back encroached public land is massive. He's targeting, 1,859 Rapani. For listeners, a Rapani is over 5,000 square feet, so huge amounts of land, potentially worth around Rs of 200 billion.
Right.
And KMC is also pushing ahead with tech, like that new digital address system using NFC in Ward 26.
Okay, let's switch gears a bit. Let's talk about the economy. Or maybe the economic lifeline, which is really being driven by you, the diaspora. The latest numbers really underscore this dependence, don't they?
They're quite startling, actually. Remittance inflows jumped by 33.1%. That's just in the first 2 months of this fiscal year, reaching Rs 352.08 billion. Compare that to last year, the growth then was about 15.8% over the same period. So it's accelerating. The reliance on money from Nepalese abroad is getting deeper.
That's a huge amount of money coming in. But then you look at the domestic market here in Nepal, and it seems, shaky.
It does, yeah. The stock market, Nepasi, has been all over the place. Dropped 81 points 1 week because of all the political uncertainty, then plunged again. But contrast that with something physical, like gold.
Right. Gold prices are through the roof. A record high, Rs 258,000 per tola. And a tola is about, 11.6 grams? What's pushing gold up so much?
It's mostly global factors. Big emerging economies, India, China, they're buying up more gold reserves. Plus, there's general nervousness, about things like the proposed BRICS currency. People are shifting towards assets they see as safer.
So hold on. We have this situation where more money is flowing into Nepal from remittances than ever before, but the local stock market is volatile, and businesses aren't borrowing much. Is the foreign money basically just papering over cracks in the domestic economy?
That's a really good way to put it. That's the paradox. Look at the banks and financial institutions, the BFIs. Their lending grew by only 0.6% in those first 2 months. They're swimming in cash because of remittances, this excess liquidity, but they can't seem to find enough good businesses or individuals to lend it to safely. Even the IMF, they've nudged down Nepal's growth forecast slightly to 5.2%, pointing to global issues and the impact of the Gen Z movement. So yes, the remittance inflow is sort of masking a lack of real domestic economic energy.
And this reliance, it hides a very real human cost, doesn't it? The risks people take, the tragedies, which unfortunately brings us to some really devastating news.
Yes. The confirmation about Bipin Joshi, the Nepalese student taken by Hamas during the October 7th attack in Israel last year. After all these months of hoping against hope, it's now confirmed he was killed. His body was among 4 recently returned to Israel.
Just awful news, absolute heartbreaking. Prime Minister Karki said the nation won't forget his sacrifice and mentioned his bravery actually saved some of his friends during the attack.
It's a terrible tragedy, and Bipin's story, combined with just the general difficulties of life abroad, it really feeds into this youth exodus crisis we keep talking about. Nepal's median age is only 23. Sounds young and dynamic, right? But the country is effectively being hollowed out because young people just feel they have to go elsewhere for opportunities.
And you can see why when you look at the numbers. That example of the culinary science graduate offered $200 a month in a top Kathmandu hotel.
Yeah.
But the same job, with food and housing included, paid $1,150 a month in the Maldives. It just shows that lack of, dignity and fair pay for skilled work at home.
And there's a strange psychology to it, too, isn't there? The kinds of manual labor jobs that might be looked down on in Nepal, suddenly, when done overseas, they become badges of success, of financial independence. That whole perception needs tackling domestically.
And finding those opportunities abroad is getting trickier, too. We should probably mention the new UK visa rules coming in January 2026. You'll need A-level equivalent English for certain visas, like the skilled worker or scale-up ones. That's another hurdle for Nepalese looking to work in the UK.
But amidst all these challenges, the economic struggles, the personal tragedies, there's still this incredible resilience and moments of real national pride, too.
Absolutely. We have to talk about the cricket. What a performance. Qualifying for the T20 World Cup in 2026. Those wins against the UAE and Qatar were real nail-biters. Sandeep Lamachin's 5 wickets against Qatar. Fantastic stuff.
Brilliant. And then you have these stories of quiet heroism, right? Like A&M Rama Thapa, the health worker in remote Bajura, saving a newborn's life by doing artificial respiration for almost 5 hours after a difficult birth. That's just incredible dedication, often with very basic resources.
And community spirit, too. Like the women in Tanahone getting together for collective marigold farming with help from the local government, getting flowers ready for Tihar. Small things, maybe, but they show people finding ways to make things work.
So, wrapping it all up, what we've seen today is this kind of dual narrative, isn't it? On one hand, this intense fight for political honesty, the Idemia case, the arrests. On the other hand, this incredible resilience from ordinary Nepalese people, both at home and abroad, propping things up through remittances, through sheer hard work and moments of brilliance.
That reliance is the crucial point, I think. This idea of creative destruction that won the Economics Nobel Prize recently. If Nepal really wants an economy that works for Gen Z, an innovation-led economy, maybe it needs to let some of the old, corrupt, inefficient systems actually be destroyed to make space for something new.
Exactly. You can't just keep patching up the old ways. Growth comes from allowing new, transparent, efficient systems to emerge, systems that encourage innovation rather than, letting the benefits get siphoned off through corruption.
We need to create a Nepal where that culinary science graduate can earn $1,150 in Kathmandu, not just overseas.
That's the goal, isn't it? Policy that enables that kind of creation by allowing the destruction of what's holding it back.
Right. Before we finish, just a quick shout out for our listeners in the UK. Do check out balea.uk. It's a great classified site for the Nepalese community there. Jobs, housing, events, Nepalese businesses, all that sort of thing.
And of course, for the full newsletter, this deep dive is based on all the detailed reports and data. Head over to nepalidiaspora.net.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll be back next time with more analysis for the global Nepalese diaspora.